Welcome back to Chapter 7 Interfaces. This is the part 2 of the chapter. In the previous session, we have discussed about the suitability and the goodness of nicely designing the interface in the human computer interaction plays a very important role. We have listed different types of interfaces and they were numbered from 1 through 22. So it means there were 22 types of interfaces that we have listed. We have covered the first and the second one. Let's just see. So we have discussed, it's a quick recap now. We have seen a command, a CLI based interface, wherein the user gives the commands and tells the computer to do some work. And then we also saw a graphical user interface wherein it's given like this. And we have discussed that an evolution over CLI was a graphical user interface where the users were provided with the option of using the buttons for A's and without the needing to remember the list of commands. And then we also saw the web interfaces, wherein we saw the different types of form controls and web controls, like a drop down list, a flat menu, and all those things related with the web based systems. This was a recap of what we have discussed in the part one. If you have missed the part one, please go and back watch it, and then you can continue listening to the second part of interfaces. Now, let's see the one given here. It is called as multimedia. Now, multimedia interface combines more than one type of media. For example, we might have or we can create an interface to connect with the computer with different types of medias inside it. For example, I can use audio or a video, animation, graphics, text, all in combination of one another. So I can combine all of them or few of them, but it means like the interface is going to have more than one form of media inside it. This greatly helps the user. For example, if we have an interface which is only designed with some text elements. Now if we have the sound or images beside it or some animation, it will greatly help the user to understand what is the input required out of him. Okay, so combination of media when it is used together is called as multimedia. And similarly, while creating interface, we can involve or take help, or we can use more than one media at the same time. For example, if it is a simple click, a user can have or user can be provided with an image as a link. So when he clicks on an image, he might go to the other part of the program or starts an animation or a video clip, or the user can return to where they were or move on to the next place. So it's like, a click. For example, if we have a text link, we click on the text and we go or to other part of the program, or we do some another work, or we go back from where we have come. So if we have a text link, okay, that might not be very attractive or interactive. However, if we can have an image, for example, we can have a next link, okay, or trying to take you to the next page. If we have that simple text and clickable, when it is click it is taken. But if we have an image wherein next is beautifully written and there is an arrow mark, the user clicks on it, it looks more attractive and more apparent to the user. So yeah, for example, if you have a simple text, when it is clicked, it is taking you to the next page. However, if we have an image, button with an image and a text written over it, or we can even have a sound option wherein it is pointing you to go to the next page by using a text, an image, and an audio. So it greatly helps the user in getting the familiarity or ease of use. Okay, so this is how a combination of media is used together in order to make the user experience easier and faster. It can provide better ways of presenting information. For sure, because we are involving more than one media inside it, right? So if it is a plain text and it is written next, and when you click on it, it is, of course, less attractive than having an image with a text and with some other form of a media on it. Okay, is more presentable and also much easier for the user to understand. Okay. What are the benefits? What are the pros and cons of it? It gives you a fast access to multiple by using multiple things. You can make things faster or easier access to the user. It can provide better ways of presenting information when only one media is used. It can enable the learning in an easier form, understanding in a better way. It will engage the user. The user will be more likely to use the app if the app is designed, or app interface is designed by using multiple medias inside it. And it will be more pleasure for the user to use the new search interfaces. It can also encourage the users to explore different parts of the application, game, or story by using different types of media inside it. The tendency to play video clips and animations while skimming through accompanying text. Yeah. For example, if there is a button, which is having, click written on it, I would rather skip the messages and just click on the button and we go from there. So it provides you the ability or the way to skim the skimming is like, for example, if you have a paragraph with 50 lines inside it, and you just want to concentrate on one, two, three important lines inside it, so you skim the other parts of the paragraph. So when you have buttons and audio clips and animations, you can skim through the text and just concentrate on the different types of media like buttons and images and video clips to get the important message out of the paragraph or the interface. Here, an example is given wherein a multimedia learning app, which was designed for for an iPad or a tablet, is given to you. And if you see here, this is how the present day looks like for for a Colosseum in Roman times. When compared, this is the older days how it used to look like, and this is the present day. So using, for example, there is some text here. There is a 2D or even a 3D picture here to understand how it used to look earlier back in days, and now here how it looks. What are the things that you have to take into consideration when you want to make a good interface using multimedia? So the design and the research considerations are given in this slide. We have to understand how to design multimedia to help users explore, keep track of, and integrate the multiple presentations in the same time. You can also provide them and hands-on, simulations or hands-on help to solve a particular task. You can also create quizzes, okay, electronic notebooks and games. If you're talking about having a multimedia application for educational apps, or multimedia interfaces for educational apps, you can create quizzes or you can create electronic books and games also. Because nowadays we have so many ebooks around. So when you read an ebook, if you want to make some notes and add the notes to the text of what you have read at a time, and you're writing some additional information into it, so they provide you with some electronic notes. The possibility to add a note in an ebook is an example of a multimedia thing, wherein you are adding your own text into it. Multimedia is good for supporting different activities such as browsing. Okay, so if you are, using a web page and you want to read Okay, so if you have only simple text, it will become boring for you to read. But however, if you have some images and if you have some, interactive quizzes inside it, some audio and videos are there, some animation videos are there, then it becomes very easier for you to browse the whole, website or the web page and get the content out of it. But it is less optimal for reading and length. Yeah, multimedia says that we use all these things. We use graphics, text, video, sound, and animations together, right? So if you have only long text, it will become very boring to read. So if you have very lengthy text, we have to use uh, the multimedia, okay, and it is less optimal for reading at length. If you have lengthy reading, then multimedia cannot support too much inside it. So you need to have lesser text. Audio clips can support, images can support the understanding and creation of content. Virtual reality. Now, virtual reality is a different is a new type of media. Earlier, we just used to have text, audio, video, and images, but nowadays we also have virtual reality, included into multimedia, wherein we have computer-generated graphical simulations for providing you an illusion of a real world. Okay, for example, apps have been made for home gym wherein a user can walk on the treadmill and he has some screens wherein it appears that he is walking in the forest, or he is walking in the park, or he is walking on, inside a shopping mall. So it creates an illusion. Virtual reality creates an illusion of the reality, but if we are involved, it is so engaging that we feel that we are in the real world. Okay, you would also have experienced some virtual learning games wherein they put a headset on your eyes, and you feel like you feel that you are inside the virtual reality. They might have a snow pool wherein you see yourself as an object and you explore the eyes falling from the sky, or things like that. Okay, so it says that it is an illusion of participation in a synthetic environment, not a real environment. It is a synthetic environment rather than external observation of such an environment. So, for example, you can sit and watch TV, and inside TV, you can, see the water, you can see the sky, but in virtual reality, you feel as if it is around you and you are inside that environment. So, it is like feeling the environment, okay, by illusions. And if you do not have virtual reality, it is just like watching. So there is a difference between watch and feel. Virtual reality gives you the feeling of it. It provides new kinds of experience, enabling the user to interact with objects and navigate in the 3D space. So a 3D space is actually created which doesn't exist in reality, but it creates an illusion around you that you are present in that particular environment what you are watching. Okay, it is highly engaging user experience. Okay, the benefits and the pros and cons include, it can have very higher level of clarity with object. Fertility is like clarity, or the comfortability of using it, or the clarity of understanding it, can have a higher level of fidelity with objects that they present compared to the multimedia. Okay, uh, so VR is like an improvement over multimedia. So it is more clear, or more easy to understand or experience than multimedia. Okay, so multimedia is better than one kind of media. For example, if I just have text, it will be very difficult for the users to read long text. So we might use audios and videos and animations and pictures and many things like that in combination, and then make that long text which more understandable, easier to understand, okay, and more interactive and more attractive for the user by using multimedia. Okay. And even if we want to make it much better over multimedia, then we add the sense of, reality or illusion reality to it, wherein the user can feel the experience. Okay. And that is what is given by the virtual reality. It induces sense of presence where someone is totally engrossed by the experience. It is like a state of consciousness, the physical sense of being in the virtual environment. It is like, you are available in a virtual environment, but indeed you are not available, right? So there are so many virtual games available in the market right now. And wherein the kids feel, they put the headset on the eyes or on the head of the kid, and then they make them sit on some roller coasters or swings, and then they feel as if they are in the real environment. It provides different viewpoints. For example, it creates a first person and a third person viewpoints. The head mounted devices are sometimes uncomfortable. So this is like a disadvantage. Okay, because they place the earlier they place the head mounted devices on the eyes to create, to see that illusion world. But earlier days they used to be heavy, which would, create or cause a motion sickness or disorientation for the users. But lighter virtual headsets are now available from HTC Vive, and they are more accurate and in tracking the movements. Here is an example of, using the VR in different arenas or different places. For example, it is used in video games. It is used in arcade games for social groups. It is also used by the doctors to create a well-being and a therapy of, fear or exercise like that. For example, here you see in the image we have a virtual reality to treat social anxiety. For example, you see this is the lady wearing a headset over her, and then she sees a spider, a big spider. Okay. And actually this is not a real spider. This is just an illusion of a spider. Okay. And then this person is trying to take out the fear, and anxiety of this particular creature from this girl. And also you see here in this second example, the kid is experiencing or learning about the planets, and he is actually seeing the planets. So for him, he will feel as if he is inside this, virtual reality environment. Very it's the best thing for learning, because we can, let the user imagine the world and feel the world, so the user can easily understand with, with visualization power. So experience how others feel emotions, for example, empathy and compassion. It will enrich the user planning experience for traveling the destinations. So in the travel environment or in the travel industry also, the VR is being used now. It has been used in architecture, design, and in education. So you see here an example of using VR in education. Polygon graphics are also used to represent avatars for the Vivid VR experience. So avatars are created, and a feel is given that as if you are inside that avatar. So avatar represents you, and then using that avatar, you can move inside the 3D virtual space. The research and the design consideration to be taken while creating a VR experience includes the following things. Much research on how to design safe and realistic VRs to facilitate training are in progress. For example, if we want to design or train a pilot to fly in the sky, then we have flying simulators. I remember when I learned four-wheel driving a car, the companies inside the big car companies, they create a virtual experience by creating a car that doesn't move, that sticks to the that is stick or that stands in one place, but it has a steering, it has a speedometer, it has left and right, and then it trains the driver to drive the car and give him the feeling that as if actually the car is moving, but indeed the car doesn't move, it is in one place, but the VR is giving the driver an illusion that the car is actually moving in the virtual space. Okay, so in this way the drivers can be trained in the early days of their driving, and when they become when they learn how to take a left, when to take a right turn, okay, how much to speed up, how to slow down the speed, how to give the brakes, they do all these things on a stationary car which doesn't move, but they have been given a virtual reality experience. So when they are going to be trained on the actual car which moves, for them it becomes easier to grasp. So for training purpose it is excellent, for learning purpose VR is excellent, okay, because it creates a feeling and also the visualization which makes the whole process of learning very interesting and easier also. The design issues include how best to allow the user to navigate through the 3D space. For example, first versus the third person. Like, so in virtual reality, it's like, even you step into the real, into the virtual world or in the virtual reality, it's like you are the first person. And the other things, for example, we also have a multiplayer games available in the YouTube, right? Wherein you can also play, your friend can also play in a different coming from a different part of the world, your sister can come into the game by logging into the same place where you are playing the game, and then there is a whole 1 2 3 persons playing with each other in the game. So it creates a personal experience. Okay. It can also control interactions and movements. For example, moving your head in a certain way and a body in a certain way is also possible with PS5 and the other version of PS4 and all, wherein you can just do exercise and feel as if you are in the class of exercise. How best to interact with information, for instance, by using keypads, controllers. The keypad should be very easy to use. The controller and pointing device and joystick should be very easier to use. Level of realism to aim for to engender a sense of presence. Yeah, sense of presence is very important in virtual reality, which is not available in another in any different type of medias. For example, in multimedia, we can have image, but we cannot have the sense of presence. So if I am, virtually playing a game, so for me and for others, it feels as if I am inside, the 3D space where they are already working or playing. Yeah, the here we are seeing that people can be helped to overcome their fears. For example, spiders or talking in public can be greatly helped out by letting the user overcome their fearness or phobias. That was all about the multimedia and the virtual reality. Now we are trying to understand the third type of interface in today's session, which is called as a website design. Early websites were having large text. So basically, they were text-based content, which was having hyperlinks. Okay. and which was helping the user to go from one page to another page, or from the top of the page to the bottom of the page. And in these pages, huge text was, rendered or used. Focus was on how best to structure information to enable the users quickly navigate and access them easily and quickly. Okay, so focus was to make the navigation easier and faster. Nowadays, more emphasis is given on making pages distinctive, striking, and aesthetically pleasing. Aesthetically pleasing means beautiful. Aesthetic sense is nothing but a beautiful, beauty, creativity things. Okay, so nowadays, if you see, the websites are made more beautiful, more, brighter, striking, okay, more attractive, and different from each other. Need to think how to design information for different platforms. Now, when you have a website, okay, we have different types of devices in which this website can be opened. So the the developer have to be careful in designing the website. For example, I can open the KFU page from my smartphone also, right? I can check my emails from a smartphone and my smartwatch also, right? So if you see, the smartwatch have the very little display. So how this whole page will be displayed in the browser of my uh, mobile on my smartwatch? So the developer has to take care about designing pages that which will become suitable to display on a big display area device, or in a very smaller display area device like a very a smart wearable watch. Now, usability versus, now what is usability? Usability is like, making the device functional and usable. Okay. And aesthetically doing it means beautifying it, having more creativity inside it. But both of them does the same function. For example, I have smart watch now. Well, we all have smart watches now. The purpose of it is serving the purpose of a watch. It is giving us the time for sure. But in addition, we have, the beautiful color, the beautiful straps, the size, the touch screen. These are all aesthetic parameters inside it. So making a device aesthetic creates an enjoyable experience, rather than having the watches only work. We have so many things to do with a smartwatch, right? So that's why we all love smartwatches. Okay, so the websites have different ways of designing. It has a vanilla or a multi-flavor design. Now, these designs provides an ease of finding something, okay, versus aesthetical and enjoyable experience. So if you have a multi-flavor design, you might also have the basic functions of the web page. In addition to that, we would have some aesthetic parameters also. For example, if we have a normal watch and a smartwatch, both of them does the basic same job, but in addition to the basic, the smartwatch have so many other applications running, right? So the usability, okay, versus aesthetic sense, creates a difference between only doing the simple work, or doing the simple work along with some additional work. Web designs are like thinking about great literature. So it is like thinking great literature. Users read the whole web like in very quick time. For example, if you open a website and you just want to read about it, we read it very fast. We just skim out what is not necessary for us to understand and remember. We just forget about it, and we read the web pages very quickly, as if we drive the car very fast, and then we might ignore or we might not read the billboard that comes on the road. So reading in the web page is faster. It need to determine how to brand a web page to catch and keep the eyeballs. Now, what is an eyeball? Eyeball is like, if you like something, you stare at it, you look at it for a longer time. So there is a need to determine how to brand a web page that can get the eyes of the user on it. So this is a challenge. Breadcrumbs are a type or a category of labels. For example, if you see here, product information is given inside a folder called as smart lines, which is given inside, switches and plugs. And then we have smart lining. So if you are in this particular product information page and you click on next, previous, it will take you to smart lights. And if you click on next, you go back to the product information. But if this product information is inside a folder, which is inside another folder, which is inside another folder, which is inside another folder, and then you come home. So at times when you reach this place, you yourself will forget that how you have reached here. So for that purpose, breadcrumbs are used. So it's like, it shows you the location of the resource that you're trying to find out. The breadcrumbs are category labels which will enable the user to look at the page without losing the track of from where he have come. Okay, so for example, you are in the product page, you know that you have come from Smartlight because this is provided by the breadcrumbs. Okay, and enable one-click user access to higher level site. For example, you are inside, you are filling the product information inside the product information page, and you want to come directly to smart lining. So you can come here and click on the smart lining, it takes you to that page. Rather than coming from smart lights, then smart switches and plugs, and then smart lines, it can give you a one-click access to the higher websites or the parents' websites. Okay, so you can just click on it and then come. Attract first-time visitors to continue to browse a website without having viewed the land page. So what does it say? It will allow the first-time visitors, the visitors who have come first time to your websites, the breadcrumbs allow them to continue to browse a website having viewed the landing page. Okay, so it is, it is giving you a way to browse the higher level or the parent folders by single click. Okay, and if you are a first time user, it will greatly help you. For example, if you are accessing the product information for the first time, okay, and then somehow you close this, okay, you don't know how to open it again. So you go to the folder, parent folder, parent folder, parent folder, and finally you reach the higher level. Okay, or you can just click on the home and come back to the home very quickly. The design issues that you need to take into consideration is when we design a web page, we know there could be any size of a layout needed at any point of time. So resizing is very important. The browser automatically resize the content inside it and change the graphical design fonts, appearances, design depending on the screen size. Or if it is a smartphone, the web design is going to be very small, and then we do not have much images appearing in the smartwatch. So the downsizing the content would be necessary in order to load the pages that are needed. Similarly, can also make it more fiddly navigating multiple pages and menus. Infinite scrolling, websites are designed to enable browsing content on one long page. So we might come up with some problems in infinite scrolling. Infinite scrolling avoids a visitor needing to wait for a page to be loaded when click on them. Or navigation is largely done by swimming across or down the page until the pages end. A side effect is a tendency to glance while scrolling without focusing on individual files. So many times this happens with us. If we lose up any file in our computers, we open the folders and we quickly skim through it, right? So that we are able to find. Okay. Now, another thing that comes in a web page is the ads. Advertisements have become widespread in the websites or in the Facebook or in any of social media application. There's something called as banner ads. So a banner of ads is created, and then you see some advertisements coming in animation or with sounds or with some sparkling click now links. So when we have much of information coming as ads, they become annoying to the user, and at some time we cannot even skip the ad that is coming. It will run for 5 seconds or 10 seconds, and then only we see the skip button or the next button, that changing into the next button. So it makes the user unhappy and aggressive at sorry, annoying at times, because these ads sometimes appear so many in number. So flashing, aggressive, persistent, and annoying, they appear, often requires the action to get rid of it. For example, we need to close it, and at sometimes we cannot even close, and we have to wait until the whole advertisement runs. Okay, so that's there. And what is the alternative to it? For example, you can tell me what is an alternative. How can we save ourselves by uh, stopping these ads? In the browsers, we have something called as pop-up blocker, or we can use ad blockers. So when we block the pop-up windows to come, the pop-up ads never appear. Okay, and similarly, we have something called as ad blockers also to help us get rid of these ads. Okay, research and design considerations. Many books and guidelines are available on website design. Wiens in 2001, okay, proposed three core questions to consider when designing any website. The first question says, where am I? Okay, am I designing the website in one part of the world, and I'm targeting only this part of the world, or I'm targeting any other place in this globe? Where can I go? Okay, for example, like and also, okay, I will give you an example shortly, and what's here. So these are the three questions the Wien have proposed. Where am I? Where can I go? And what's here? What's here is like the content what you have in your website. Where can I go means, like, as a user, by using your website, what are the possible things that can be performed? For example, if it is a banner, then registering a course is possible through the banner. Okay, dropping a course is possible through a banner. However, writing a quiz is not possible in banner. That is possible in the Blackboard. Okay, so what are the possibilities are there in the website should be clear. Now, this is your homework activity. Look at a fashion brand website, for example, Nike or Labis. Okay, and find out what kind of website is it. How does it, contravene the design principles outlined by Wien? Are they following it? What are the possibilities inside their website? Does it matter? What kind of a user experience is it providing? Is it easy user interface, or is it taking time, or is it very attractive? So find out that one. What was your experience of engaging with it? Like, was it easy for you to register as a new user? Was it easy for you to buy something from it? And so this is your activity. Now, the fourth type of interface, what we are going to learn now, is a mobile interface. It is a handheld device intended to be used when you are on move, right? Mobile screens are very small, have become very widespread. Every one of us in this world nowadays are using smartphones, right? Even a poor is having a smartphone with him, right? So have become widespread, increasingly used in all aspects of a day. For example, as a student, you can use your mobile phone in the education area. Similarly, if you are a doctor, you can use mobile phones to reading about different diseases or finding about the drugs, I mean, the medications and all. So, even if you are a gym teacher, then a gym teacher can use a mobile phone for planning of exercises and things like that. For example, phones are used everywhere as a fitness tracker and smartwatches. We have many things. Larger size tablets are used in mobile settings, including those used by flight attendants, marketing professionals, and at car rental returns. And even nowadays, we see when we go to the restaurant and then we want to place an order, they bring their iPad and they bring their, the tablets to order for the food. Even Vaswati, for example, when we go to the pharmacy and then we want to, place an order for it, they have Vaswati tablets installed in the pharmacy, and then we put just the number of the prescription, and then the medication is sent to the pharmacist, and then he will take out the medication and disperse it to us, or he give this medication to us. Similarly, we have some, there is a application called as iBeer, which creates an illusion like, drinking or a liquid or something like that. QR codes and smartphones are greatly used nowadays. You see here, there is a restaurant and there is a barcode. You can scan and you can see their menu items. What is the design considerations that you have to take into consideration? Mobile interfaces can be sometimes cumbersome. For example, if the user is aged one, for example, 60 or 70, then it is cumbersome difficult for them to use the keys on the touch screen, right? Because of the small space. Like, for example, when I'm trying to type something, I try to type S and I'm clicking, my thumb is getting clicked on A. It happens, right? We are trying we are trying to target pressing a letter, and the letter beside it gets typed. We make so many typo mistakes while typing, right? So these are all the difficult things. Uh, if someone is poor or have fat fingers, then this happens. A key concern is the hit area. The place where we touch the screen is called as the hit area. This is the concern, right? Area on the phone displays that the user touches to make something happen, such a key, an icon, or a button, or an app. Space needs to be big enough for all fingers to press the letters properly. If too small, the user may accidentally press a wrong key, and this will be, very difficult if you are trying to write the password for your emails or for, banking application, and every time it goes wrong because you're trying to press, for example, a letter A and S gets typed. Okay, Fitts law can be used to help design right spacing. And what is that law says? Minimum tappable area should be 44 points multiplied by 44 points for all the controls. All the controls should have this much of space between them. Applications or appliances, everyday devices in home, public spaces, or car, for example, washing machine, remote, toaster, printers, and navigation systems have these mobile interfaces on them. For example, the smart washing machine that we have in our home has a small mobile or a display area on it, right? Interface on it. And we can just have it selected with the touch. A personal device, for instance, like a digital clock or a digital camera, used for short periods, for example, starting the washing machine, watching a program, buying a ticket, changing the time, or taking a snapshot. It needs to be usable with minimal, if any learning is required. If any learning is required, the learning should be designed and made in a very reduced form. Here we see a simple toaster control, and we see some instructions giving here. Okay, for example, this is 1, 2, 3 intensity. Okay, and then this is the level to adjust the the bread. For example, you put the bread, and then you this lever goes down, and when the bread is toasted, automatically comes up, right? So it means like it is hot. Okay, the bread is ready after toasting. The research and design considerations need to design as transient interface, okay, with very short interactions. We don't want many interactions when we have small devices or mobile interfaces. Simple interfaces should be very simple. Then there should be difference between the soft controls and the hard controls. For example, use buttons or keys, okay, and then dials or scrolling. Okay, voice interfaces. It involves a person talking without. Okay, let me record this as a separate video.